Hello and welcome to Action Teacher Video. Video is a powerful tool that teachers are using to reflect on their own practice and to communicate new ideas. In this series, we feature videos produced by teachers themselves and discuss the contents and implications here in the studio. In this programme, we'll be looking at an innovative approach to personalised learning in Long Sands College, captured on camera by teacher Anthony Partington, and called, this time, It's Personal. I'm delighted to be joined in the studio by Anthony Partington. Anthony, hello and welcome.
Hi.
Joining Anthony is another teacher with some similar experiences and concerns from Warwickshire College, Ian Eustace. Hello, Ian.
Hello.
I'm also pleased to introduce a consultant who has been involved with the Teacher Video project from the start, Adrian Jones. Hello and welcome. Anthony, I wonder if you could tell me a little bit about your video and perhaps the background to your interest in personalised learning.
Well, in this video, I'm catching up with some boys who I first filmed some months ago when we were involved in a whole school project to cut down the number of targets that children were carrying around in their head and make them more personal. And I wanted to hear what they really thought about this project, so I wanted to hear the student voice, really.
I think it's useful.
Why?
Because it helps you work towards improving.
Yeah, because if you don't have targets, you're just having a vague idea, but with targets, you're looking at something solid and going for it.
9 months ago, I filmed Matthew and Philip as part of a whole school target setting project. In the short term, they found the experience useful. But what happened when the camera was put away and they got on with their learning?
We're now at the end of the academic year for which Matthew and Philip had set their targets. They've made some important decisions since that time, such as choosing their GCSE subjects, so I've asked them to interview each other, that we might gain an insight into how they think that the process of personalisation actually affected their learning. I want to use this unimpeded access to the student voice to further develop the process of making students' learning even more personal.
I felt the academic planning day helped me quite early on because the teachers were reminding the class of the targets all the time at the start, and I was thinking about them a lot more.
I feel that it helped me because I kept getting reminded of it, so it was stuck in my mind what I had to do to try and improve. Did you feel that learning experience had been personalised? Did you feel important? Did it help you?
I thought the learning was personalised. I didn't particularly feel important because at parents' evening, for example, you're sort of graded on your performance, but with the targets you were sort of showed what you needed to improve on. So I thought in that aspect it was quite personal. Did you feel that the learning experience had been personalised? Did you feel important? Did it help you?
I feel it was personalised because I chose my targets for myself and everything, but I didn't really feel important, but yes, it helped me. What is the biggest change in yourself?
Hasn't really been a massive change. I think I concentrate a little more in class from the targets, but the teachers haven't reminded us of the targets a great deal recently, so I haven't really been thinking about them at all.
The biggest change has got to be my handwriting because it used to be really messy and now it's getting quite neat.
Is the work helping you now? Why?
Well, a little bit, but I've sort of forgotten because you don't really get reminded of them anymore, so I've sort of lost track of the idea.
I've kind of forgotten about them and I've gone back to how I was before.
How could learning be personalised for you? What would really help you change or improve?
I think if I was reminded of the targets a lot more and I met up with the teachers more and sort of discussed whether or not I'd completed the target, and then if I had completed them we could sort of work on a new set of targets, so you keep the whole process moving along throughout the year. How could learning for you be personalised? Well, I can't do it if he's trying. Okay. How could learning for you be personalised? What would really help you to change or improve?
Well, it'd help if I got reminded a lot more of what I had to be doing to work towards improving my handwriting, punctuation and all the other stuff.
So listening to what you say, it seems that you had a mixed response to the target setting process. How much input do you think you need?
I think the teacher has to put a lot of input because an average teenager will not set targets for themselves. So if the teacher sort of set some different targets every so often, then they'll be pushing them towards completing them and improving themselves.
Matt?
I'd agree and say that they should meet up every month, once a month or so.
What do you think your classmates would say about your learning? And what I mean by that is specifically you two.
They'd probably say, "Oh, we would have liked to have done that," or something like that.
Yeah, I'd say that I think they'd say that we had more attention rather than them.
Why would they say that?
Because of the whole video thing, we've had a chance to sort of play with the cameras and stuff and talk about what we feel about them, and they haven't really. They haven't been able to express their opinion.
Do you think they should all have the opportunity to be involved in something like this?
Yeah, I would say they should, yeah.
The use of video?
Yeah.
Yeah, videos, it's sort of fun, and if you're sort of enjoying it more, then you get more out of it.
Good. Finally, have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, it's been very fun.
It's been fun.
Good. Useful?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Anthony, the boys were originally involved in a personalised learning project. Did you see some initial gains there?
I think there were a lot of initial gains. They mentioned in the video about how they were concentrating more, they were more motivated, and particularly in my classroom, I think just being involved in the project had kind of given them this extra boost, and they were really eager to get on and to learn more. But I think as time went on, that started to change.
Is there a tension there
Yeah.
between teachers' roles and students' responsibilities?
I think so, and perhaps it's a bit of a failing of ours as teachers that we're very engaged in an initiative when it first starts, and then it slowly peters out. And it was quite interesting to hear students telling us that we need to be a bit more committed to an initiative and their idea of how it should evolve.
The students, do they have a tendency to set lower targets than you feel they can achieve? Or do you have to constantly keep driving it up?
I think possibly that should be the role of the teacher in this target setting, that you do need to drive them on, and that's where the project fell apart slightly,
Right.
because we weren't having these regular meetings. It was a big kind of there's a big start to it, a big launch, which then was not really followed up.
I think if I was reminded of the targets a lot more, and I met up with the teachers more and sort of discussed whether or not I'd completed the target, and then if I had completed them, we could sort of work on a new set of targets, so you keep the whole process moving along throughout the year.
What did you do as a result of hearing what they had to say? I mean, I know it was the end of term, but what changes could take place to balance that out a bit?
It's building into the school calendar some time for these meetings, whether that is reflected as a kind of scheduled appointment or another one of these target setting days. Something has to be done about it, but it's actually a really good idea that he comes up with, isn't it? And he gives us what he wants, and they're very consistent in what they both want, which is more regular meetings, more tutoring, more mentoring.
How possible is it to balance their requests for consistency across a school, you know, where you have got personalised target setting? How do you actually adopt that in a large school with lots of students?
I think it's very difficult to schedule these in the normal timetable. I think there's an opportunity for collapsed timetable days. I think that's the only way you can do it and meet everybody on those days. Other than that, you're going to have to use lots of free time, and there are lots of restrictions on that.
Ian, I want to bring you in here. How do you see the issue of teachers and students and the demands of students and getting together and meeting?
In my background, we have normal tutorials, but they're generally group-based. I was actually wondering about how Anthony worked. Did he do individual tutorials to set the targets, or group ones?
Initially, it definitely had to be an individual tutorial meeting because you were drawing all these targets from everywhere else. But I don't think what was good about those two boys is they actually started kind of peer mentoring each other throughout the project, and they became a pair really, and that's why they work well together.
That kind of support for one student with another, and maybe increasing motivation from one to another.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And in a way they are taking responsibility for themselves.
Yeah, and in this film I call it This Time It's Personal because they actually took responsibility for making part of the film as well, and this idea that they were more independent, that came as an accident. It's possibly the best thing that happened out of the whole project, really.
They'd probably say, oh, we would have liked to have done that, or something like that.
Yeah, I'd say that I think they'd say that we had more attention rather than them.
Why would they say that?
Because of the whole video thing, we've had a chance to sort of play with the cameras and stuff and talk about what we feel about them, and they haven't really. They haven't been able to express their opinion.
They said that their friends were jealous, that they wish. Do you think that was because they saw their peers achieving more, or do you think it was about the glamour of being on video, or that it was something different from the normal timetable?
I think it's a mixture of all of those things, isn't it? It was something different. I think through the use of video and the fact that they had more time to talk about their learning, they almost had a lot more tutorial time than everybody else had. And you know, there's a certain degree of glamour, isn't there, involved in it.
You've got two things going on there, really. You've got the use of video to support student voice and personalised development, and you've also got the use of video to support staff development.
It is very useful for staff to hear that kind of feedback, and it would be very interesting to see what other year groups thought about target setting. That was year 9, and if we based the whole of our evaluation of the project just on 2 year 9 boys, it's still not really catering for all those the different requirements. So perhaps more use of this kind of evaluation process to capture the voice. It's about choosing those children as well. Who needs that kind of extra motivation? Who does it best serve? And how do you partner it up? I mean, Matthew was actually better at filming than Philip was, but yet Philip is much better at talking on camera. So that again, a happy accident, but I think I can learn from that about marrying pairs up in the future of students who are involved in this kind of project.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's a good point to end on, but I'm sure that this will provoke much more discussion. You can, of course, find out more from our website at teachers.tv. It only remains for me to say thank you to our teacher producer, Anthony Partington, and guest Ian Eustace and Adrian Jones. Please join us again on Action Teacher Video, and in the meantime, from me, Xanthi Steen, goodbye.